What's going on, guys? This is Fatboy, and welcome back to the final episode of touring Thrakmar. And yep, starting it off strong with my Megabase that I started work on. The upper part was never completed. The door was never completed. So much of the space was never completed. This was going to be the official entrance with a large elevator in the floor. As you saw in front, I had a whole area for challenges and whole mini game that we would play that I was thinking that a whole bunch of me and my friends could play to dig out as much area of the giant pit you're about to see over there, but it never got finished or played because I just mined it all out myself. I wasn't patient and I couldn't really wait. Before we get up inside the base, I thought I would come and show you just, a scale of what was mined out, with each one of these chests being full of stone all the way down in here, even the ones that are underneath or behind other chests. Each one is full of something from all of this mining. And right next to all of this, you can see there's a giant concrete block, and this is actually a concrete farm that converts all of my concrete that I need, and it just works by me standing, I don't remember where, I think it's here, yeah, standing here, because if I place, say, a block here, it would push it straight through and give me another piece, so I could sit here with a macro and just carve out the entire thing. And yeah, I got a lot of concrete, and it wasn't necessarily the most fair way of getting it. More on that in a little bit. But as you can see here, it's just a huge giant block of concrete that I would use to mine out for all the different colors that I needed, and go up and use it in my mega build. Now, as you've probably noticed, there's a giant railway that's been connected through here, and that leads back to base number 1, also known as base alpha, and it was a long journey, but the villagers would make their way up here and over into, before we get there, we can move on over to my cityscape area that I was working on and designing, with the roads inspired from the roads of Good Times with Scar in his Aqua Town, and just a lot of Hermitcraft inspired things, with, the fact that there was a shopping district in the last episode. But as you can see, we got bridges that had pillars, and I just had all these crossroads and plots for future giant builds and designs and skyscrapers. Had huge amounts of areas planned for this. I had another whole tunnel that punched through the other side of this mountain, down here. Despite not having ever really finished planning out all of this area, I did finish one build in my city, and that is my bounty box. This was my first shop built on the world. Well, second shop if you count the shop I tore down for parts earlier in the season. And I have these support beams carrying up the roof, and it's very inspired by the barge from Hermitcraft Season 7, which Grian built. And the idea was that people could come in here and sell the different, bounties on things. Say if someone wanted a whole bunch of ender pearls, they could put some diamonds and put a sign and say, I want ender pearls. And do a whole bunch of different things like that, or they could come over here and sell specific items for people. And this area had tons of barrels, including up here, but all the barrels had to go because of the villagers. And I just had another whole board up here for people to put bounties on specific items. And it was going to be a pretty good business, but then I had to tear out all the barrels. After I built that shop, I had another idea to come and sell all of my richides, all my iron and gold from all of those farms, and yeah, it didn't really work out because my design called for lots of prismarine, and seeing as my guardian farm was broken, I couldn't really get tons of prismarine, so I kind of gave up on this whole area because of that. But moving down from the mountain, we can see there are 2 beacons down there, which are giving me the haste and jump boost effects that you can see there. And that is because I just had some extra beacons and I wanted to expand my range of beacons over here. And by range, I mean the fact that I have other beacons. But before we get to there, just wanted to say, hey, look, there's some flowers. Okay, fine. We're going to go now all the way where the villagers will have gone. Through this railway, past these giant portals, into what is my mega base. Coming down for a first look, you can see that these portals extend all the way to the bottom, with this whole area being carved out manually with beacon haste 2, of course, but the entire area being taken down. And these are the 4 beacons I have here, giving me the level 2 effects you see now: speed, haste, jump boost, and resistance. And again, instead of, building a slime farm here, I decided to make a garden instead, because who needs slime farms when you can just have amazing gardens. And coming down this long hallway, we have my mine that I started up again with yet another haste 2 beacon. I really did have loads and loads and loads of beacons in this world. Moving on, we go to where that railway ends and this other begins. This is where villagers would come to be transported all the way across into my giant area of villagers. None of these ever got filled up, but I sure filled up every single enchantment that I wanted. I got unbreaking, efficiency, feather falling, all sorts of books. I even have some villagers that have given me multiple books, but not all of them, because I actually didn't trade with these guys as much as I probably should have. Moving on from my librarians, I have all my other toolsmiths and weaponsmiths and armorers that populate my giant city of villagers. Coming out to the back over here, we have Zombert, who is my zombie, who converts all my villagers on this area. And let me say, this design for a zombie converter, again by JC Plays, is truly the best one I have seen, because the one I designed myself didn't really work out well, but this one, it ended up working well with just adding some ingenuity with a couple minecart things here and there, and quick, easy ways to transport them. It really became very, very efficient. As you can see, we have a banner from killing a raid that did happen here. And in fact, you can hear pillagers from yet another raid that has happened here. But I have not ever found them, because this giant ravine I happen to cut into spans a lot of distance, with caves all mixed everywhere. I always assume they're somewhere over here, but I never have found them. And coming out of this villager area and back down to the ground, you can see that all of these carpets are really just secret torches underneath. And here's my setup that I had for mining out this whole area. This setup moved time after time, depending on how low I got. You see, one of the old times was up there with one of my friends. But moving back up here, we have a very, very important room indeed. This is my vault room, where I was going to add more super smelters, because right now those are just normal furnaces, but where I actually added all of my riches back here. I have all of my most important things, including full netherite ingots, a whole bunch of ancient debris, and all of my shulker boxes, and my solid block of diamonds back here. Moving on back outside of my vault, I just thought I would mention that this is my first 3x3 type piston door that I ever made. It was a really fun challenge. It was really fun. And as you can see, I was using all the concrete from the concrete converter to make my roof, but I never fully settled on a pattern, and thus it went unfinished. But we can sneak back over in this area for a little secret farm I set up very, very late into the season, which is that of my bee farm. But yeah, I got all of my poppies from the iron farm. I got all my shears for getting the honeycombs. And this was before copper, so I didn't really have a huge need for these, which is why it kind of got discontinued. Moving on out of there, we got my next hallway, which leads down into my bedroom, which wasn't used that much, but I did have a load of furnaces and some extra storage. I had my emergency armor switcher, which is loaded with tons of really good armor. And I also had my bed, which I don't know where it went, but yeah, I had my bed here at some point. I have all my emerald boxes for trading with villagers. I have my pricey bits box, which I should not leave just out in the open, which has, of course, the 12 bamboo, a reference to Hermitcraft Season 7. If you get it, you understand. And I have my netherite hoe for my serious dedication to the farming that I did in this world, and I have my magic tuning fork, reference that if you get it, you understand. And anyways, moving on past my bedroom and going into this very unfinished hallway, you can see that this is actually what I used to do to get all the way over to my villagers. And this room back here was an unfinished sugarcane farm, which was going to be a new and improved version that was not completed. Well, moving on outside of my base, it is time to go explore the Nether and the End and the other areas outside of my bases and farms. And I think we'll start not with going through these portals, but with exploring the journey to the End portal. Now, I also came here just to mention that this is where I gathered loads upon loads of my sand. There used to be one of my beacons out here for gathering my sand, but in the end I ended up moving it back to my base because I thought it looked cooler back there. Flying past some more villages, we find another abandoned village in the way to the end portal, and this giant mountain with naturally forming sand towers. Just, I always thought it looked very, very cool. And one thing I never noticed traveling here is that there is a jungle right next to where I kept traveling. I traveled this route a lot, and I never saw a jungle here, because I guess I never looked past these savanna trees. And I gotta say, I traveled literally 10,000 blocks total just to find a different jungle because I didn't think there was one near me. And the fact that there is, and I didn't need to go that far, is really frustrating. But I guess if I didn't go and travel to find a jungle, I wouldn't have found the mushroom field biome that I got that mycelium from either. And coming to the end of the route to the end portal, we run into a savannah village and find just past it, this giant waterlogged pit. And this leads straight over to what obviously has to be the end portal, because I mean, it's purple blocks. Because my coding, color coding back then was just so good. Anyways, making it down this ladder, we come to directly near the end portal, a place for us to put our respawn point, and another portal. And seeing that the nether comes before the end, I see fit that we should go explore what little there is in the end first. Coming into the end, you will find immediately that we are met with water and needing to swim out of the hole. That is because I wanted to prevent Endermen from coming and wanted to make sure we had all of the source blocks we needed around this place when we fought the dragon. And as you can see here, we have a little fun machine around here, which, stupid Endermite. And as you can see, it's, it might be a concrete duper. It duplicates gravity blocks, and yeah, this is how I ended up getting the rest of my concrete for all my farms. I just switch out the colors, and yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to find all of the energy to carve out tons and tons of sand and gravel, and I couldn't really find much either, so I resorted to building that. But I also had a beacon installed here just because of how I was carving out pillars. As you can see here, there was an entire small pillar here that has been mined down to pretty much nothing. And as you've probably noticed here at the middle where the return portal is, I've also built another little cheating farm. This is actually a farm for withers, where they can spawn up here, and then they get suffocated in that, and their drops get stored down here. Anyways, moving on past this portal, we can head to the opposite side, where there is a giant leaf bridge and an enderman farm, used to get all the ender pearls that I would ever need, and boy, I did not need many, because this farm is very, very good. Another design by JC Plays, with an endermite in the minecart and all the endermen getting upset and coming and attacking it, which fall down here and can easily be one-shotted to get all of the pearls that I would need. Anyways, that's everything to do with this end, and now we can head on back through one noisy portal to go through yet another noisy portal to the Nether. Now, coming on through this portal, we are brought into this tunnel, which is actually built because we are in the middle of a very dangerous basalt deltas, and I didn't want to bother with any other, I didn't want to worry about gas shooting me off, and so I designed, why is there a chicken? I've basically just carved out this large area for just travel between here and all of the other major places in this world. And as the final leg of the journey, I really wanted to bring it home and show off how I started to design out full-on Nether Tunnel connections, with this being based off of the hyperlink from Hermitcraft Season 7 as well, with the soul soil on the outside, packed ice in the middle with chains around it so you can use boats, obsidian for indestructibility from gas, and all sorts of things. And if we follow down this route, we can actually run into this portal, which leads straight to my Megabase, and this is continuation of that same basalt deltas by the end portal. If we come all the way back here, you can see that this portal here is where my original starter base portal connected up to, but that just didn't end up working out as a permanent location. And moving on past all of these crazy magma cubes, we find ourselves in this very destroyed room where there used to be a portal to my industrial district, but it was since disconnected because of issues with the gold farm. And if we come down these stairs in front of this starter portal, it led down to my netherite mine, which it wasn't too crazy, but it was big enough to spawn gas, which was a bit of an oversight, and I think we are lucky enough to see a gas down in my mine, if you want to call that lucky. I think I better run before all these magma cubes take me on, but that's my netherite mine for you. But moving on from one incredibly dangerous thing and going out through this makeshift tunnel to another one, we keep carving through this basalt delta, trying to get out and over to a new portal. And this portal is the one that goes to that shopping district, the original one, in the middle of the ocean. I actually made this portal on accident when I got the coordinates wrong for the one for my industrial district, with doing a negative 191 instead of positive 191. But running back the opposite way from this staircase, we can fly over and find a warped forest, which was very helpful in obtaining all the ender pearls I needed. And additionally, we can go straight on across this water and actually end up running into one of my farms that I didn't end up using too much of. This was my Piglin bartering farm, another design by JC Plays, and it is still pretty useful. I have so much stuff I don't even know what to do with it, which is a problem, some would say. But I mean, I got so much good loot from this. I was able to get lots of obsidian and crying obsidian for my pathways, that it was very worth it. Anyways, then we have another portal over here which just leads to the middle of a tundra. Now we have a tunnel down here. If you follow this for long enough, you'll run back into my netherite mine. It was a whole process and it was very hard to track. And since I'm kind of running out of time for this video, I'm going to have to spare you. I'm going to spare you with the long tour through that tunnel. But what I'm going to show you still is my fortress, my Nether Fortress that went in a terrible way the first time we ever went there. Seeing as I'm down to my last 2 rockets, I can't really fly all the way to my fortress, so I'm going to show you my original tunnels we made for this, I'm going to show you the original tunnels that we took on our very first journey to this fortress. So we started carving our way out this long path, and we got, and I kind of cheated by putting the seed into a website that found the nearest fortress, and I just started carving. I was with 2 of my friends at this time, and we were going there. We were coming here to take on all the blazes and wither skulls, trying to get as much blaze powder so we could get to the end. And we weren't super geared up at the time, and we didn't have elytras so we could fly away. The story of how this went down went a little something like, I was overconfident and thought we could take on anything. So we all kind of just came down and jumped down into this main hallway here, where apparently there still are swords dead to this day. And we fought and kept fighting and kept fighting. And one by one, all my friends went down, and I was starting to retreat. They kept coming back from other respawn points, and we had to retreat further down this bridge, and we eventually had to just full-on pillar out before we were completely destroyed and had nothing left. My friends both did die, and they lost everything but a single pickaxe, which I have kept in a safe place ever since. So that's the story of my Nether Fortress journey, and there's just one more part of this world that I'm going to show you, and then it's gonna be a sad goodbye until the next time in the next series, which should be coming soon. And coming back into the overworld, the last thing I wanted to show you guys is just my ender chest, and just let you know that I'm going to take everything out here and go and place these down in my vault, just as a final goodbye to this world, to keep all of my riches safe and secure. But I guess it's not that secure if I just told you guys exactly where they're going to be. Anyways, guys, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and if you liked the video, be sure to put a like on it and comment below what your favorite part was of this video and the entire series, and what types of videos you'd like to see in the future, and, you know, we will come back soon. I promise there will be more content coming, hopefully more regularly than what has been coming now, but I really hope you guys enjoyed, and goodbye. a new Let's Play.